Right friends, welcome back to this new module Insight. Why this module is started is several times we go through newspapers and we just give passive reading without giving much thought to the sentences. So some of the sentences or some of the news items require some deeper perspective. Keeping that in view, this Insight is launched. So look into the first one. Oil prices touched a new low of $28 per barrel, which is the lowest ever in 13 years. In June 2014, around 18 months ago, oil prices were $115 per barrel. Now they came down to $28 per barrel. And what are the reasons for it? I will list out 4-5 reasons. First and the foremost is, since 2008, the growth or GDP in the world is not satisfactory. Several countries are either under recession or reeling under low growth rates. Under these circumstances, the demand reduced drastically. Second important point is, China in recent times is not growing on the expected lines, and during the year 2015, China's growth rate was 6.9%, and 2016 and 2017 it is expected to grow at 6.3% and 6%. So China's growth rate came down, so the demand came down not only from several countries, particularly from China also. Third important point is, if you look at United States of America is extracting shale oil, and United States of America previously used to import a lot of oil, especially from Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Algeria, but because of shale oil, America's oil production almost doubled during the past 6 years. This is the third important reason. Now, America's dependence on other countries reduced drastically. And fourth important point is, as America started importing less oil, predominantly oil exporting countries like Nigeria, Algeria, Saudi Arabia have to look for other Asian markets. This is the fourth reason. Fifth one is the demand reduced. Accordingly, production is to be reduced, but because of geopolitics, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries are not reducing production. At present in the world, the production is much higher than the demand, because of which the rates slashed to $28 per barrel. So these are the prime reasons. So when you are going through some news item, have a thought why and how these are happening. Right friends, Reserve Bank will purchase government bonds up to rupees 10,000 crore to infuse long-term liquidity in the banking system. What is the meaning of this sentence? Reserve Bank will purchase government bonds. Sometimes Reserve Bank of India will purchase government bonds, and sometimes they sell government bonds. What is this operation? This operation is open market operation. This is a part of Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy, so as to ensure required liquidity in the market. Or you can say, Reserve Bank of India is to ensure desired liquidity in the system. The liquidity available in the system should not be too excessive, should not be too less. For that purpose, Reserve Bank of India has got several tools like cash reserve ratio, statutory liquidity ratio, and popularly known as reserve ratios. At the same time, Reserve Bank of India has got another tool, policy rates, repo rates and all. That is another tool. And the third one is open market operations. As and when Reserve Bank of India feels there is excess liquidity in the market, Reserve Bank of India will sell government bonds so as to squeeze liquidity. And as and when Reserve Bank of India feels there is a need for liquidity, then they will purchase bonds so as to infuse liquidity into the system. So this mechanism of purchasing and selling government bonds is to infuse liquidity in the system. In recent times, there is not much liquidity in the system because banks are borrowing heavily under repo. Not only that, banks are borrowing heavily through call money mechanism. Under these circumstances, Reserve Bank of India felt there is not much liquidity in the system. For that purpose, recently it decided to purchase government bonds so that this 10,000 crores liquidity will be infused in the system. Right friends, look at the next one. Indian currency breached 68 mark per dollar, the lowest since September 2013. In the year 2013, during September, dollar to rupee used to be around 68 rupees per dollar. Subsequently, rupee strengthened and now it is again touching 68 per dollar. And in recent times, rupee is depreciating. What is the reason for it? In recent times, rupee is depreciating because of the reason foreign portfolio investors are withdrawing money from stock market. Stock market is also falling in recent times. Why stock market is falling? Because foreign portfolio investors are withdrawing money. Second important point is demand for dollar from the importers is high. And because of these two reasons, in recent times, Indian currency breached 68 mark and is depreciating. And when the rupee further depreciates, Reserve Bank of India may step in and may sell dollars. Reserve Bank of India is not interfering at this juncture. It is allowing rupee to depreciate up to 68 because of the reason when rupee depreciates, exporters will be benefited. Keeping that in view, Reserve Bank of India is not interfering, but when rupee breaches to somewhere around 70 or 71, then Reserve Bank of India will come into picture and it will intervene and it will sell dollars in the open market so as to prevent a slide of rupee further. Right? So, recent times rupee is depreciating because of heavy outflows by foreign portfolio investors and demand for dollars by the importers. Government plans to adopt a Swiss challenge model to develop 400 railway stations across the country. This Swiss challenge model is some company will come up with some idea. That means to develop Nagpur railway station, let us assume, to develop Nagpur railway station, if L&T submitted some proposal, L&T will submit unsolicited proposal. Government has not asked it. Private parties will submit their proposals. Now, let us assume L&T came up with a proposal to develop Nagpur station with 1,000 crores of rupees. Then, government will examine that proposal. Government, what they will do? They will take offers from other firms also. Suppose the GMR quotes 500 crores. GMR asks for 500 crores to develop Nagpur station. Then what the government will do is, government will give first opportunity to L&T to do the work at 500 crores. L&T quoted 1000 crores, but the first offer is to be given to L&T to develop Nagpur station at 500 crores because GMR is offering 500 crores. So the first offer or the first right of refusal is to be given to the firm which came up with unsolicited offer. This is the Swiss challenge model. And please don't forget, recently Kelkar committee recommended Swiss challenge model should not be accepted because it is devoid of transparency. Right friends, look into the next one. Subsequent to Chennai floods, 1.4 million people received 700 crore as flood relief through banks in quickest and most transparent way. This is the beauty of Aadhaar. So far, Aadhaar has got no legislative framework. This Aadhaar or unique identification was not created, supported by legislative regulation, or you can say no law is there passed by Parliament with regard to adoption of Aadhaar. That's why Supreme Court intervened several times and said Aadhaar is not compulsory, but with the help of Aadhaar, this 1.4 million people got assistance of rupees 700 crores immediately as flood relief in Chennai in most quickest possible way because of Aadhaar numbers. The beneficiaries can be identified with Aadhaar, and second important point is duplication can be avoided and there will not be any allegations. This is the beauty of Aadhaar. So ultimately JAM has to come, that is the bank account, Aadhaar, mobile number linkage. Government is working out on these lines, and as a first measure government should bring the parliamentary legislation for Aadhaar as early as possible. The three public sector oil refiners will have to invest rupees 30,000 crore to 35,000 crore over the next 4 years to produce auto fuels that will comply with the BS6 norms. All of you are well aware BS6 norms will be implemented from April 1, 2020. So, to ensure BS6 norms, two things are important. The first thing is oil refiners. Oil refiners have to supply the fuel to BS6 standards. So, lot of investments are to be made by oil refiners, and there are three oil refiners, Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum and Hindustan Petroleum, and on one side these oil refiners have to invest around 30,000 crore to 35,000 crores so as to supply fuel in compliance with Bharat Stage 6 norms. And at the same time, automobile companies have to upgrade their engines so as to satisfy BS6 norms. BS6 norms are basically reduce emissions. Sulfur will be reduced from 50 ppm to 10 ppm, and at the same time particulate matter will be reduced, nitrogen oxides will be reduced. So by switching over to BS6, ultimately the air quality will improve. That is the main motto of BS6 norms, and to ensure BS6 norms by April 1, 2020, oil refineries have to invest a lot to supply BS6 compliant fuel. That is one aspect. Second aspect is automobile companies have to upgrade their infrastructure to manufacture engines in compliance with BS6 norms. So these two things are very important if you look at this BS6, and sometime we will discuss in news analysis about this BS4, BS6 and all. Right friends, look at the next one. First meeting of the Council for Trade Development and Promotion was held recently. Government of India in the year 2014 constituted for the first time Council for Trade Development and Promotion. All the states will be involved into it, and the Minister for Commerce and Industry will be the chairperson for this. And this involves all the states basically to promote exports. All of you are well aware exports are falling for the past 12 to 13 months, and during the current financial year exports are falling by around 17 to 18%, which is alarming from Indian perspective. And so as to give boost to exports, this Council for Trade Development and Promotion was constituted, and all the states will be members in this Council for Trade Development and Promotion. Recently its first meeting was held. Sri Lanka is in the process of drafting new constitution. What is the need for new constitution? The present constitution is unitary in nature, and it is not able to take the aspirations of ethnic minorities into consideration. If you look at the northern part of Sri Lanka, Tamils are there. If you look at eastern part, Muslims are there. So the existing constitution is not able to take care of ethnic minorities. That's why the problems related to assault on Muslims and LTTE and subsequent civil war took place in Sri Lanka, and now the government realized the need for new constitution, and it started the process of drafting new constitution. And basic challenge is accommodating the interests of ethnic groups like Tamils, Muslims. Second important point is there is a need to choose parliamentary democracy which will promote greater democratization of institutions, and for the first time Tamils are participating in the constitution making exercise. And the biggest challenge is to satisfy hardliners and Buddhists. And if the government overcomes that challenge, the constitution making exercise will be a successful achievement for Sri Lanka, which is the need of the hour because the northern region Tamils and eastern region Muslims feel alienated in the country. Right friends, I hope you enjoyed Insight. Every week we will have similar discussion on important news items so as to understand the news in right way. That is the main purpose of Insight. Right friends, have a nice time. Thank you.